Once you know the truth, you cannot unknow it. Capisci?
All right, all right, all right. What up, Burnett? Hey, so here we are. It is July 1st. Man, these months are flying by. Aren't they really? That's like they're flying by. I had somebody message me today. They're like, "We're still doing communion." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." I just it's going by quick. Um so this is my favorite part of the month. It's really quickly growing on me to be my favorite my favorite part of the month because we get to sit back and take a deep breath and think about everything that we've gone through in the last 30 days, 31 days, whatever. All the time we take reading, all the time we take preaching, all the things that we get to do, and rather make it about us, right? We make it about Him. Um, so we do these communions on the first of every month. We've been doing this. This will be the third one now, and I'm very, very blessed to be able to do this with you guys. Um, Really big thing. Obviously, we know first up what's going across the bottom of the screen. John 8:34. Jesus answered them, "Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin." Jesus meant exactly what he said. There's no getting around this. There's no getting around that. Every time somebody sins, they prove what they serve. And it's an ugly picture, man. It really is. The world's in a really bad place. It's in a really, really bad place. I put a verse up on the screen. 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2. It says, "Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful, faithful in all things." There's the parable where he says, it's the unjust servant, right? He said, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much. He that is unfaithful in the least is unfaithful in much." And that's the truth. And I put this verse up here first because I really do want to talk about this. This is a big deal. Um, this is a huge deal. It's not just bread and wine and a quick prayer and everybody go back to your normal lives. This means something. And that's what the heathen buildings have gotten away from. That's what everybody's gotten away from. They don't understand what this really means. You know, and the best I'm gonna cry. The best comparison that I can give you because we obviously weren't around to see it happen, but would be the Passion of the Christ, right? Great movie. I think it was an excellent movie. I'm not one for movies. You can ask anybody that knows me. I'm really just not one for movies. But that was a great movie. And you look at the beating that he took, right? Not Jim Caviezel in the movie, but you look at the beating that Jesus took, the stripes, the fact that they opened up his back. They beat the shit out of him. They embarrassed him in front of everybody. They 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 cut him up. They shoved a crown of thorns on his head. Hey, hey, trumpet! My cat's attacking the damn dog. So, they beat him severely. Then they nailed him to a cross, naked, in front of everybody. They hung him naked in front of everybody, and they mocked him. They mocked him. And you look at the story. I look at the story, and when Pilate put that sign above his head, I think Pilate did it from the bottom of his heart. He called Jesus the King of the Jews because he knew. But for everybody else, it was mockery. For everybody else, it was mockery. They just mocked him. They openly mocked him. They spit on him. They hit him. And so when we do this every month, we do this to remember what he went through. And in a lot of ways, it's for you to look at that and understand that no matter what you go through, you're not going through that. You know, even if somebody shot me dead for preaching the gospel, it's not a crucifixion. Even if somebody whooped me, I mean, even if I got jumped on the street, come on, man, please, Bargy. Even if I got jumped preaching in the street, it's still not a crucifixion. And so we take this time to really sit back and think and remember what he went through and why. And the why is the kicker. The why is the kicker. Everybody thinks he just got up there, got nailed to a cross, and then that's it. They don't think he accomplished anything. They think that they can just keep on. They think that he didn't accomplish anything. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really what they believe. They still believe they sin after they say they believe, but they don't really believe because they don't really know what he accomplished. Nobody takes the time to go deeper. Everybody thinks that Jesus could not accomplish what he got up there to accomplish, which was to end sin, to pay for it for everybody, to reconcile all things, and to shed his blood for all men. So 1 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 2, he says, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. I cannot stress this enough, that when you come to this table, when you come to this show every first of the month, or when you sit down to read your Bibles, or when you go to preach it to somebody else, I cannot stress it enough that you have got to be faithful in all things. There's just no way around it. If you sit down to do this with us, right? I've got the wine in front of us, the bread in front of us, and soon when we take part in that, you're doing this in remembrance of him. And it's such a big deal. It really, really is. I mean, it's every first of the month. It's not. I don't know how serious. I don't know what to say to stress this stuff to you people, to where you'll take this as serious as you should. But at the end of the day, 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse, I want to say it's 27. We're going to get to it either way. Um, verse 20, it's verse, 27 and 28. Well, 27, 11, 27, he says, wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink the cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. So in 1 Corinthians, whatever that was, chapter 4, verse 2, where he said that it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful. If you still sin and you take part in communion, you are eating and drinking damnation on yourself. Verse 29, for he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. And that's the kicker to this. So when we do this, I'm doing this for the people who do take this serious. I'm doing this for the people that do understand. I'm doing this for the people that really do believe, that really do put their whole heart into it, that I mean, it just is what it is. To the perfect, right? Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, and that's the same book. It's in the same book. 1 Corinthians 2, is it 2:4 or 6:2? 2:2:2. 2:6. No, it's 2:6 right here. Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor the princes of this world that come to nothing, to naught, right? So when we sit down to do this, I just want you to really understand the gravity of what he went through and just how serious it really is. And that's what they do to people that believe like that. That's what they do to the real believers. They kill them. So we discern his body to remember him. Plus, I like to sit back at the end of the month and think of all the shit we've been through, even just in a month. There's one guy this month I think completely changed his entire life, and on a day like today, I think of him too. I discern Jesus's body in that, because showing this to people changes lives forever. Taking somebody from the bondage of sin and setting them completely free, and to be able to thank him for doing it. There's nothing better in the world. There's nothing better in the world. Setting someone free is the best feeling you get. And so, that being said, we do this to remember him. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. It's going to be a relatively quick show. We've got another one coming up. Trying to give everybody time to get here, and it just is what it is. Yes, he did, farmer. Yes, he did. That's why I'm trying to tell you. Like, that's why I keep trying to tell you people. Like, it doesn't matter what you do or what you've done. It doesn't matter what you're going to do. He reconciled all things. He paid for it all. There is no sin. He did it. And that's what we sit here to remember. So, um, we got another show coming up later about 10:30. It's going to be a free for all. It just is what it is, and I'm all for it. Well, it's 10:15. It's already scheduled. It's already done. I've got a video that I'm going to go over with for somebody else. We'll only make it like 5 or 10 minutes into it. You don't need much, but at the end of the day, this is what it is, man. He paid for it all. He made you perfect on that cross. If you're here and you take part in this and you still sin, you're eating and drinking damnation on yourself, right? And I kind of I laugh about it because this week, right, Nancy Pelosi went. They had banned her from taking communion in California. I don't know. Like, I remember talking to my wife about it. Like, they banned her from taking communion in California, so she went to Rome and got it from the Pope. You know, and I just laugh because both of them, still think they sin, and both of them eat and drink damnation on themselves. It's so serious. You guys have no idea. I just wish you guys would take it serious, like life or death, because it is. It really is. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 23 through 29, and then we'll do it and get on our ways. So, any of you kids want to open us in prayer? No, honey. No. All right, I will. All right, dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we come before you humbly submitted. You are a holy God. You are perfect. You are a perfect God. You are uncorruptible in all of your ways. You made man in your image. You made us a little lower than the angels, but then you look at us. Like, what is man that God should care about them? We come before you humble just to say thank you. And on the first of this month, July 1st, 2022, we come before you to remember your body, your sacrifice, and what you did for us that can never be repaid. It can only be appreciated. And we just thank you. We thank you for every day, every breath, everything that we go through all the time. For everybody, their lives are different. Everybody's in a different place, but you're the same. You're the same yesterday, today, and forever. And for that, we thank you. So we acknowledge you, and we do this in remembrance of you. 1 Corinthians 11:23. For I have received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. And that's where we do this in remembrance of his body, the beating that he took. It's just crazy, man. After the same manner, also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as you drink it in remembrance of me. For as often as you eat this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death until he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. I love that right there. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are as chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when you come together to eat, tarry one for another. And if any man hunger, let him eat at home, that you come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come. So, I mean, it just is what it is. Examine yourselves. For real, for real. I know for a fact, everybody sitting in front of me right now lines up with the Bible. I know for a fact that we spend all day we know. I know for a fact I'm saved. That's where you need to be. That's where you need to be. If you still sin, you're not. If you still sin, then you still serve sin. If you still sin and you take communion, you're done. You know, he made a way out. You got to figure it out. You got to take the time. I'm not here to waste anybody's time. Never have been. We have a lot of fun. We do a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of people look at us like we're crazy, but we're not. The people that still sin and claim to be saved, those are the crazy ones. Those are the cults. All these heathen buildings on all these corners everywhere, all these religions and different sects of Christianity and apologetics and hermeneutics, this and all the garbage. It's all just that garbage. So I will see you guys at 10:15. I hope it's literally 3 hours, 3 hours away. And this is what it is, man. Farmer, do the study, dude. Salvation Assurance, Never Sin Again. The link is in the description. It's in the description on this video. The link is in the description. You know, it's easy. You just got to take the time, pick up the Bible and read it. Start in John, read John to Jude, then go back, read Matthew, then Acts to Jude, Luke, Acts to Jude, Mark, Acts to Jude. Read the New Testament 4 times. It ain't going to kill you. Figure it out. Take notes. When you see a verse on a subject that you got questions about, you want to know if you're still under the law, write down every verse in the New Testament that has to do with the law. The end, you'll figure it out, man. You want to know what's going to happen in end times, right? You want to know about what's going to happen. Everybody talks about the rapture, right? That's only for the 144,000. Go through, write down every verse as you read, like read the whole thing and write down every verse that has to do with it. At the end, you'll have your answers. Get your answers from the book. You know, I can say I preach it faithfully. I can say that wholeheartedly. I preach it faithfully. But I would even, you know, in order for me to be faithful, you have to be able to compare me to the book, and I have to line up. So I would even then just say skip me and go straight to the book. But the studies are there. Every video on this channel is one badass Bible study after another. And for that, I thank Jesus, because this is good. He put me in trust with the gospel. So I'll see you guys for communion on the 1st next month. Last week, I was arguing with an ignorant woman. I remember you. Yeah, I do. Yep. I do. Yes, I do. We'll be going live again at 10:15. It's 3 hours away. Well, less than that, 2 hours 45 minutes, or 2 hours 55 minutes. If you would like to show up for that, you'll be more than welcome to come up and chit chat. Other than that, this is about him. It's about him. It's about what Jesus did. It's about the beating he took. It's about what he did on that cross. So we remember his body, his blood that he shed for us. And with that, I thank you all. I salute the brethren, and I'll see you at 10:15.